Yeah, we can start now. Good evening, everyone. It's a delight to have you all here for the episode 6 of the Lady Baazigar series. A girl should be two things, who and what she wants. I'm sure this has been made sure by our Lady Baazigar today, Diksha Vashisht. Women constitute almost half of the world's population, but the hegemonic masculine ideology have made them suffer a lot. They were denied equal opportunities, and the rise of feminist ideas, however, have led to tremendous improvement in women's condition throughout the world in recent times. But access to education has been a most pressing issue since eternity. And women education in India has always been in focus, be it our government or our civil society. Through this Lady Bazigar series, Project Korea aims at inspiring young girls to be educated and empowered. Now I would like to invite Devika to enlighten us about sarkarischool.in and Project Korea.
Hi. So, talking about Sarkari School, it is an initiative of We Citizen Foundation. It is a think tank that provides platform to highlight the hard work of individuals in the field of school education, uplifting the future of younger generations and those who are not related to government or any organization but are helping the neglected strata of Indian society. These peculiar innovators redefine the field of education with a lot of self determination and hard work and thus deserve recognition. Sarkari School works on featuring unsung people who are underrated in this society. We give a platform to those people who have worked for betterment of school education with a holistic point of view. Individuals who genuinely help government school and underprivileged kids should have a voice and proper appreciation for their dedication and hard work. We at Sarkari School help them eradicate the dichotomy that exists between private and public sectors of education, the neglected strata of society that needs attention. Coming to Project Guriya, gender inequality has been experienced all over the world for ages. Though it has decreased over time, still, many of us, many girls face many kinds of discriminations. We are still being discriminated against in terms of various aspects as compared to our male counterparts. The primary aspect in terms of gender inequality has been experienced in education. Our project aims at increasing the enrollment of girls in the elementary and primary education in government schools. We help the government institutions to help build a safe learning space by spreading awareness and organizing donation drives. The project envisions to reduce the poor sex ratio in the classrooms and support the little good girls, Guriyas as we like to call them, to follow their dreams. I will hand it back to Bolti.
Thank you, Devika. Now I would like to deliver the welcome address. Firstly, I would like to thank all of you for joining for the sixth episode of the Lady Bazigar series, Part 2. Under this series, we conduct one on one interview sessions with girl icons who are currently pursuing their education or have completed their higher education despite facing various social emotional hardships throughout their journey. Lady Bazigar is a platform for all those icons to share their story, to recognize them, their passion, their goals, their dreams, and success mantras with all the young aspiring girls out there. Today, we are delighted to have with us Diksha Vashisht. She is a final year student pursuing bachelor's in elementary education from the prestigious Lady Shri Ram College of Women, New Delhi. She is the founder of Girl Up Fly, a social non-profit organization under the UN Foundation geared towards the women empowerment. She was a Bolti Bandh Fellow in its 2021-22 cohort and its certified in conflict resolution, negotiation, and transformative practice. She has a particular inclination towards leading change making projects and conversations with which further pave the way for bigger milestones. She is also a self taught mandala artist and has her artworks on sale. I did go through her Instagram account and it was breathtaking. So, if you all want, you can check out Mandala by Diksha, I guess.
Yeah, mandalas by Diksha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for gracing the event, Diksha. Without further ado, I'm sure all of us present here, we're excited and pleased to hear you at the same time. We would love to hear more about your journey till date and about your mandala art and your account and the Girl Up Fly, which you have founded, and the obstacles and your, you know, perseverance and your driving force throughout. Firstly, how are you and how are you looking forward for this episode today?
I'm doing great and I am really happy to be here today. I think there are really less institutions and organizations that are still working on the online mode, since everything is back to the offline mode. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this conversation. Very happy to share whatever little I have done and know. So yeah.
That's really wonderful. Yeah, actually, we are working in a hybrid mode. So if there is an donation drives or such thing,
Yeah.
we go to the ground place. But yeah, we feel that virtually we can cover more areas because we interview people who are from different parts of the country, but mostly we are based here in Delhi. So it's easier for us
Yeah.
to connect through the virtual medium. We
Right.
would love to
Makes
hear.
sense.
Yeah. We would love to hear about your synopsis of your journey, like from school to college. How did you choose up ending, bachelor's in elementary education?
Mm-hmm. All right. So, coming to how I got into elementary education and how I founded Girl of Fly, and then how I got into Mandala, it is all interwoven, I would say. So, to come out as a privileged person, I'll say that I belong to a background wherein I never had to like struggle for education. I never had to, fight my way through opportunities. I have been, I am audible, right?
Yeah, you're
Okay,
perfectly audible.
so I have been privileged in that sense that I had opportunities and I had parents who supported my education. And I think this is where I came from. Recognizing this kind of privilege, I realized between the pandemic, I realized that I do have that. I do have that space. I do have those resources which can be further utilized for the betterment of people out there. Like, of course, school is a very protected area that we come from. It's a very limited zone, and we're not exposed to the outer world a lot. So when I came to college, when I came to Lady Shriram College, it was as if I'm looking at the world from a very different perspective, a feminist one, and one wherein not everybody comes from the same background that I am coming from. Not everybody has, a smooth educative background. So that is what made me realize that, especially in the pandemic, when every kind of gap, the financial, educational, digital, every kind of gaps were increasing, that is when I realized that probably I can take forward a step towards, bridging these gaps. So that is how I started Girl Up Fly. I contacted Girl Up India first for it because I want to work with them. But as I told them the ideas that I have, they suggested me that I go ahead and start my own club so that I can execute those ideas better with further people working with me. So yeah, like I I thought of a name. I gathered a couple of people who shared similar interests, because this was the time during the pandemic wherein we had a lot of debates regarding feminism, humanism, and misandry and misogyny. Everything got confused, and this was the time where my feminist ideas were, building the concrete foundation. So I was in conversation with a couple of people who shared the same agenda, the same idea, and yeah, I introduced them to this organization, and they signed up for it. Then further, through the networks, the limited networks that we had, we further went out and looked for people who would be interested in working with us, and then we finally had a team of 50 people on board. And one of the biggest projects that I always wanted to take up was sponsoring somebody's education, because we see a lot of kids around us who are not going to school, who maybe cannot go to school, who are not being sent to school, and there are a lot of factors that lead to these problems. And like now, not only I had the privilege, but I had the organization which had a kind of um, authenticity in the minds of the audience. Like, they knew that we were doing actual work. That is when, like, after doing a lot of online events, a lot of online sessions with doctors, with financial experts, of course, towards women empowerment, That is when we decided that, now I think we have built a kind of concrete foundation on which we can take a bigger leap. And that is when we went ahead with our fundraiser. um, before going to the fundraiser, I think when we start something like this, I'm sure Devika and Maitri would agree, when we're on these sessions, or when we start something new, we're not sure what we're doing. We don't know
Yeah,
exactly.
we all are pretentious.
Exactly, right. We are trying to figure out things while we are doing those things. So along the way, I met a lot of people. They shared their experiences with me. I've been very lucky with that. I got a very nice team. They were very motivated towards working for a bigger purpose, like a social welfare purpose. And through that, I think we got a lot of contacts, and those contacts helped us to help further people. So it's like a ripple effect. I met these people met other people, and these other people knew some people, and that's how we built a network. And we hosted around, I think, 30 to 35 sessions. Some were for, like, to name a few, breast cancer awareness, cervical cancer awareness, and counseling for government school students as to what they can do after 10th standard, after 12th standard. And we did all of this without any funding. So a lot of people, before even beginning a project, they start thinking about, oh, I won't be able to do it, I don't have the money, I don't have this, I don't have that. And for everybody out there who has an idea, and whoever wants to do something, I think this is for you. You don't really need to wait for an opportunity, you don't need to wait to have enough money or funding. There are a lot of things that you can start doing without funding, just gathering a small group of people who probably think like you. Or even if you don't want to, or you're unable to gather a couple of people, you can always begin yourself. So after I met these people, and after I worked with them, and I realized that, of course, I have a lot to learn. I don't know a lot of things. I didn't have these contacts. I could never have done this alone, I realized. That is when we thought that let's aim for a fundraiser. Okay, we didn't have any target amount in mind. We didn't have a particular beneficiary in mind, but I just had this NGO in mind, which was working towards educating children from underprivileged backgrounds. Like, I'll name the NGO Pakshala. It's an NGO based in Noida, and it's basically like, they host classes, educational classes, and um, sessions for kids, like, around that area, in a community park. So that is like a school under a tree. That is their concept, I guess. So I knew the founder because I had worked for them in a summer camp as a mandala instructor again. And I just spoke to Priya, the founder, and I asked if there is a need to sponsor somebody's education. Like, I think this is what a lot of people think, like, we don't know who needs help, we don't know where to go, we don't know how to start. And I think all you can do is just make a simple ask. If you know people around you, you can just simply ask if they need help. And of course, you'll have to go through the whole verification process to know if the initiative that you're going to take for them is going to be actually for them and will benefit them and them only. So I had worked with the organization, I knew the founder, so it was very easy for me to go ahead with the whole process once Priya told me that there is a student, Julie, who requires funds. So yeah, we started our fundraiser. We were clueless. We didn't know how to fundraise. So we, like, organized some meetings and we discussed what we can do. Probably we can hold some contests, we can hold some quizzes. But this was in 2021, and already people were exhausted with online events, online webinars and seminars. So we were like, I think we'll have to take some different discourse for this, because I don't know who would sign up for a quiz or a contest, especially in between their assignments in their online classes, and everybody was trying to make the most of the pandemic. So yeah, like, it was a very difficult time, and we realized that our target audience are basically students, youth, like people ranging from the between the age of 18 to 24. And so we decided that let's do a kind of I don't know if this is the right word, but let's do a kind of barter. We give them something that they can use in their life ahead, and they will of course help us with funds. So we started organizing workshops. Now these workshops were also held by fellow students. I had a couple of students in my club. They were very well dancers, they were singers, somebody was really good at shairi, somebody was good at bullet journaling. And through this network we started organizing these workshops. And yeah, those workshops had a registration fee of rupees 50 each. So if you want to learn how you can work out at home using just the material around you without going to the gym, you can pay rupees 50 and learn from somebody who is actually doing it and who is from like your age bracket. Is same goes for dancing. Like even if you don't have a space at home, we had a sitting choreography workshop. So a student from our club taught the participants, some sitting choreography. I did not attend that, but yeah. So then I organized a mandala workshop for the same. We had a bakery workshop. We had a, a cake making, I think a momo making workshops. Like we had all these workshops which everybody can make use of, and at the same time do something good for the people around. So this is how we actually sorry we actualized our vision, and we were able to raise the required amount. And through that, a girl was able to go school for an entire year without having to worry about anything. It wasn't easy. Like we had really less participants, and we had to bring participants from here and there, but again, every initiative requires effort, and we did that. Then in 2021 we further started with the recruitment of our new members, like people who wanted to like leave the organization for some better thing, or they wanted to continue, they were there with us. And then we'd have to recruit again, because those are the girl up policies, that you'll have to increase your network. More and more people should have a chance to work with you. More and more people should be able to benefit from your club. So we started recruiting, we came across new members, then we hosted another fundraiser, this time for 4 kids. So we came across students from our surroundings, like not an NGO student, not a student who is maybe studying in college and needs funds, but actually we got to know that there are children of somebody's maid who are not able to go to school because the maid is the only earner of the family. And it became very difficult for them to survive during the pandemic, so they stopped going to school. So that is when we decided that okay, let's take up this cause. So they were two twin sisters, so we took up their cause. We raised a bigger amount for them than we thought we ever could. And once we completed that, we got to know about another student, and we couldn't say no. We didn't commit, but we couldn't say no. So we said, let's start, and whatever amount we can generate, we'll give it to them. Luckily, again, I don't know how, I'm still very grateful, but we were able to generate that amount as well. And then again, we got to know about that child's friend in the class who's not able to pay the fees for 2 years and he needs funds. So, yeah, like we fundraised for that kid as well. So, 2 girls and 2 boys this year. It wasn't easy, but I think again, if you have a will, you will find a way, and we eventually found a way. Um, we broadcasted our cause everywhere possible. I left small sticky notes in my college, maybe on the canteen door, on the back gate, on the front gate, in the library, and near the doors in the lifts. I left these small sticky notes telling them that hey, we're doing this. If you'd be interested, please attend our workshops. And yeah, we did find enough people. And this was just this year to 2022, when college has started, so it was even more difficult for us to actually get people on board for online events, online workshops. But I think yes, we had gathered the confidence of our audience, and they were very definite of the fact that we are going to use this amount only and only for the beneficiaries, and we of course maintain transparent accounts whenever we reach a particular milestone. So that helped us, and yeah, we were able to do that. I think till now those are the biggest milestones of the club. We're working towards a campaign wherein we're looking into creating a toolkit, a redressal mechanism based toolkit, and some a legal aid toolkit for especially for the area of sexual harassment in different spheres like public, educational institutions, workplace. So that is still in process. Apart from it, I think we did a lot of such conversations because it's very, very important to talk about these issues. We spoke about how pornography affects the way women are perceived. We talked about breast cancer, cervical cancer. We talked about how menstruation is still a taboo, even though during the pandemic a lot of people started conversations and drives, but still it's it's an issue. And I had a opportunity of having a look at this firsthand when we went on a donation drive with Hemkund Foundation. We went to a small area, Basti area in Gurgaon, and the women there were not accepting the sanitary napkins without if they were not wrapped. So in order to actually meet our vision, we knew that their health is more important than proving a point. So we had to then further like wrap them in newspapers with soaps and everything, and we had to give it to them that way because they were not accepting it otherwise. So that is how I had a look at how we think that we have progressed a lot, but we fail to look beyond our own circle. So yeah, I think that is how we've reached till here, and there's a very, very long way to go ahead. We have just started, and I think I've spoken a lot.
That's really remarkable, and it's really intriguing that we always feel that we can make a very bigger impact, like considering the paucity of funds or our time,
Hmm.
but you have directly impacted lives of like four students who really want to study.
Students,
It's
right?
remarkable because like we have a limited fund. Either we can cater it towards different many students, increasing the quantity, but the quality would decrease. So the
Right.
utilization would be more impactful if you direct to those few students. It's really remarkable. And the idea of workshops is really good because our organization is working on fundraisers and all. It's we could take up that. It's really wonderful. um you have founded like Girl Up Fly. So what was your main vision? Because female or women equality, it's a myriad. And what significant aspect of the female equality or Girl Up your club focus on?
I think I missed your question because the screen froze. So can you just repeat the question once?
Yeah, sure. I was saying that the issue of women inequality, it's like it's a myriad. It's various aspects have been be it menstruation, be it awareness, be it education. So which significant aspect did you envision while finding the Girl Up Fly?
Um, Again, we don't exactly know what we're doing until we actually start doing it. So when I started the club, I had ideas of how I can start conversations, the people that I can get on board for such conversations, the creative ways through which we can address certain issues. I had this in mind. I didn't have a particular issue because then I don't know how bigger an impact we'll be able to make. So we I think we went ahead with all issues. Probably like we spoke about okay, so we went from breast cancer awareness to the harms of tobacco for women. We spoke about feminism to pornography. We spoke about green menstruation and transgenders. We spoke about everything basically. Like in 2020, when we started the club, again, as I said, we didn't have a particular direction that, oh, let's only and only work towards period poverty, or let's only and only work towards demystifying the concept of feminism or menstruation. We couldn't take that up, so we used all resources we had for all these areas. So we touched upon all aspects, and we also spoke about body positivity. Then at the same time, we spoke about objectification of women in media and how it's portrayed. So I think for the first year we didn't begin this way, but in the second year we realized that we'll be able to create a much significant impact, and we'd be able to create a more again, like, more substantive change if we are able to direct all our efforts towards a particular sphere. So first, of course, we aimed at doing this fundraiser, that is a girl child education. So that is the sphere that we worked in, and now we're working towards sexual harassment redressal. So these are the two areas we're working in this year, but before that we've worked in almost everything.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like a big umbrella. You have covered various
Yeah,
issues and you've tried to
right.
tackle. That's really wonderful. So how has your experience been managing, coordinating and balancing Girl Up Fly and other activities with your academics?
Good question. Actually, in the pandemic, when I started the club, I started from a place of restlessness. I didn't know how I can do better. So I started the club. And when I started the club, we didn't have classes that time. So for a couple of months, I was having a very nice time. I didn't have to juggle anything. I was able to, host as many events as possible, make mandalas at the same time, and, do Netflix and chill and everything. But when college started, I realized, okay, I can't have everything. So we used to work late till night because we were very ambitious in the first year. So we used to work late till night, and I used to wake up late. So I used to miss my couple of classes, like the morning lectures. But then slowly, as everybody started having online lectures, we realized that we'll have to like specify working hours, and no matter how much you try to draw boundaries between your academics and your internships, it's not very easy. Like for other students, it was like a volunteer work and a kind of internship, so we weren't able to draw those lines because everybody had different work schedules, and we were able to manage it very flexibly. But yes, I had to compromise on my lectures, but I did intern here and there with that. I can't sit idle, so that is one thing about me. And when college started, like offline college started, it became more difficult because not just my college started, every person's college started, and it became very difficult for me to come to terms to the fact that they won't be able to come for meetings, they won't be able to, give in their inputs as precisely as they were able to give earlier. So I think, yeah, I'm still making peace with the fact that we're not able to do as much as we used to. But again, we can only do we can only do so much with the time that we have. So yeah, like we have this campaign going on. We're working on it. It's a little slow, the pace of the campaign, because of course some people are having exams right now, and now my new session has started. When I'll have my midsems, they will have their new session started. So this way, the calendar is not in sync, because we have students from across India. Like we have from law universities and IB University, then Delhi University. So it's difficult to get on the same boat at the same time. So yeah, we're trying to coordinate, and I think this has taught me how to juggle, how to block my hours. Like what I try to do is the first 2 hours of my day are just for myself. I work on my personal projects, I read my books and everything. Then I get on my mails, then I get on Girl Up's work, then anything related to college. Then maybe later at night mandalas. So this is how I try to plan my day, but of course I can't actualize it every day. I at least try. But I don't think anybody here, I don't even think you would have a precise answer as to how we juggle our college lives, because it's so dynamic. We can't, right?
Yeah, it's like we have different schedules every day, and the thing is, you can't have it all. You have to compromise on
Absolutely.
anything. We all got 24 hours. it's hard, but
Absolutely.
I wish you luck all coordinating with it.
Yeah, this is my last year, and I'll have to teach at school this year. So I don't know. Let's hope that things work out well and I'm able to do at least what I've planned for this year.
Wishing you so luck. So, nextly, I would like to know who has been your biggest support throughout your journey.
Again, my screen froze for you. I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry. I don't know if
No,
I'm
no, it's
facing
okay.
an issue. Yeah. Who has been your biggest support throughout your journey?
Uh, I can't name a single person. Of course, as the norm goes, I would say my biggest support has been my mom, my dad, my family, because they have enabled me to work so much. They were able to take care of other things so that I don't have to worry about it and I can work on this. A couple of days back, I realized like my mom is not at home. She is in her hometown, and I realized, okay, maybe my productivity is linked with my mom being at home. So that's what I realized. But apart from it, I think coming on a more professional zone, there have been a lot of people, and that has made me realize that if you have an idea, if you have a vision, especially to help people, there will be 10 other peoples to help you with that idea. That is something, that is a positive takeaway that I have from this whole journey. um, I would say the core members of the club, especially the people who have opted to work for the club for another year, especially when they could have worked in a different organization, they chose to work with the same organization. um, yeah, I think my gensec, my treasurer, and every person, honestly, like every member, I can't just thank one person or a cup or just one team. Every person, I think the fellow girl up club leaders, like Anya is a very good friend of mine. She has helped me through everything, and she had started the club way back than I had, so she helped me a lot with it. Then Pranjali is girl of Vadodara's president, so she helped me with a lot of things, and we collaborated on certain aspects. So I think this is a very close knitted community, and we're all working towards the same agenda. So you can often find us helping each other in our projects, in our campaigns. And apart from it, I think everybody who has supported the club, who has believed that this is not just an organization run by a few students to fill their pockets. I think they, because it was very difficult for me to imagine that why would somebody give us money? Why? But as people started giving us money, I realized that okay, we have built this trust. They know that what we are working towards, and then it is our responsibility to be very transparent with them throughout the whole process. So yeah, I think biggest support, a lot of people.
That's really nice, and it's a remarkable example for she.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really nice you have gained trust and you have built confidence among the people. And this question, when we are having fundraisers, I actually think that okay, I'm forwarding this message. Would they really send us money? Won't they doubt it a sec?
Exactly. That's what I thought. But I think you have to take that leap of faith. You have to do that. You have to try.
Yeah, keep trying. Yes, it's the key.
Absolutely.
So, as you have mentioned, and we got to know that you were the Bolti Bandh Fellow from 2021 to 22. Would you like to share that experience and how it impacted you?
Absolutely. I think this was the most unplanned thing that happened. Like my friend came across and said that, hey, we have this fellowship that we can apply in a pair, and should we go ahead with it? I was like, sure. I never said no to things. I was like, yeah, let's apply. So I applied. I got through it. I sat for the interview, and I got selected. The like Bolti Fellowship. Bolti is an organization, firstly, and they have started this fellowship. This organization is run by two absolutely amazing women, Janvi and Trina. They both have been very supportive throughout the process, especially in the interview. The questions were so thoughtful. I think being a part of this fellowship has made me realize the complex sides of humans. Like this was basically to like the area in which the fellowship focuses is conflict, and how conflict can be dissolved or resolved through dialogue, like the importance of depolarizing conversations and having the essential dialogues that we need to have. So I think this has changed me into a very thoughtful individual. And I'm not just saying this because I've been a part of that cohort, but I was the youngest person there. When I first sat for the orientation meeting, I was like, ye kahan aa gayi? Because there everybody was in the age of 30, 35, 40, 45, and I was sitting here like a 20-year-old kid. I didn't know anything about conflict, I didn't know anything about dialogic practice, but that was a very good start for me. Like, I used to ask questions, I used to ask every kind of question. I used to rebut things that, oh, I don't think this happens this way in every situation. And yeah, like, it helped me a lot. We understood things about intergenerational conflict. We understood things about how conflict can be resolved through different techniques. And while looking at conflict, while looking at any sort of disagreement, what are the factors that we need to consider? Because these are things that we're not taught. But conflicts is something that we come across every day in our life. Maybe I'll have a conflict with my dad right now, that I have like four bulbs on in my room, and maybe I'll have a lot of disagreements happen in our life, and we don't know how to look at it from a, a lens wherein we also consider where the other person is coming from. So this is just one thing. I think it was a 6-month fellowship. It taught me a lot. We had theoretical as well as practical sessions. We had to, go through case studies. We had to also do kind of role plays, wherein I'm the person who has a conflict and the other person disagrees with me or agrees with me, and how we can resolve this. What are the kind of questions we ask? What are the kinds of conversations we come across? Though that in that process, and everybody was like almost a stranger to one another. I didn't know anybody, absolutely anybody. So whenever I'm having a conversation with that person, it's like I don't know that person at all. So I don't know what from where that person is coming from, and I always thought like I know the least. So that was the best thing, the best approach through which you can actually learn the maximum from an opportunity. Always listen and always think like, there is so much more that you need to know, and there is so much more that people around you know, and you can learn so much. So yeah, I can't precisely put the fellowship into one word and explain it in terms of a single line and how it changed my life, but I'll say I'm a better person because of the fellowship today. It's not a very known and very famous fellowship, but I just went forward with it because I found meaning in the first session itself. So yeah.
It's really nice, and I know that the fellowships or anything you do apart from your academics or curricular, like what rest are not doing, it really helps you grow as a person. And you said
Absolutely.
that you know the least, so
Yeah,
that being down to earth, that you don't know anything, you are just dumb, and that just curates you, and that just you have that thirst for knowledge, that okay, I have to do
absolutely.
this, I have to learn more.
Right. To be
So
honest, I
where
didn't have an option. Like, everybody around me was a successful professional in their lives, and I was just a third year student who didn't even know what she would do after graduating. So I was like, okay, I really have to sit down and listen.
That's nice. That's nice that you got through this opportunity, and
I think Maitri again froze for me. Devika, is it
uh,
happening with you also?
No,
Okay,
it's
so
fine for me.
अच्छा ठीक
thank
है.
God.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna kill that Wi-Fi.
No, 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 it's okay.
I'll reiterate the question to you if it happens again.
Yeah,
I'll say
yeah.
the question.
I think
Okay.
we've all gotten used to this whole thing that goes on with the online thing, right? We know that am I audible, am I not? Oh, can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you. So it's fine. You're not killing the vibe.
I'm really sorry for that.
No, no, it's okay. Please.
Going ahead, where do you see yourself in future? What are your future plans? Yeah, for you as and for Girl Apply, so we have got to know that you're working on. awareness campaigns and all, but for you as a person.
Okay, good question again. But um, see, if I look at myself currently, I see that I have a lot of interests. I have worked in a lot of spaces. I've worked in startups, I've worked in social organizations, I have worked as a mandala artist, I have worked as an academic person a lot. So I don't know what exactly I'll go ahead with after probably graduating in the next 2, 3 years, 5 years, let's say. Let's take the 5 year stamp because that's what people generally ask. And um, I become unconscious once they ask this question. But since like we all are fellow students, we all must go through the same. I don't know what exactly I'll do, but I know a couple of zones that I might get into. One is public policy, one is the education stream. I might become a teacher, and if I enjoy the process, I might continue being a teacher. If not, then I'll probably get into education policy. If not, I'll probably look at policy from a wider lens. Girl of Life will always be there. So at Girl Up, the organization, we have this policy that once you graduate, you pass on the club to another individual. Like you remain the founder, you kind of become the managing director of the club, but you elect a president for your club, so that another person from a lower age bracket or maybe an unexperienced person can run the club and learn more from it. So it's more of a community building thing that give pass on the opportunity to other people. And I think, yeah, in a couple of months I have to elect the president for the club. The club will always be there. I'll make sure that we have more meaningful and impactful uh, campaigns, projects, sessions, because I think no matter how much you do, there is always room for you to do more, room for you to dig deeper into the issue and do better for the people around. So I think there are a lot of issues in which Girl of Life can work. We would, of course, take those issues as per the contemporary needs. And I think I answered the whole question.
Our best wishes are with you always.
Thank you so
So,
much.
as we have mentioned, that Project Huria advocates girls' education. So, we would love to hear about your views on how, according to you, our society could create a more enabling environment for promoting girls and, improving the enrollment ratio in the schools.
Okay. So, luckily, this is something that I also study on a more academic level, on a more serious note than just like reading the newspaper articles and headlines. So, to understand why there are depleting ratios of especially girl child education, we need to understand the reasons and we need to understand why those reasons are still prevalent. So earlier, like we have evolved from a time wherein women were not allowed education. They were not allowed to read, they were not allowed to write, they were not allowed to participate in any major decision making processes in the house. So they were basically domesticated to the farther extent possible. We have to understand how we came to a time wherein you and me are having a conversation like this. We're allowed to express our opinions, we're allowed to um, educate ourselves as much as we want, and to even work, to even look forward to educating our own fellow students and coming generations. um, I think to understand the reason why there are still people who do not want to like enroll their girls into schools, we need to understand a deep rooted belief that like there's no point in investing in the education of a girl child. And I think there are a lot of grassroots organizations who are trying to break these taboos and rebuild this whole perspective of how there's no point in investing in your girl child's education because at the end you have to marry her off and you won't receive anything in return. But I think in urban areas, at least in urban spaces, like I'll talk about the place that I come from, like Delhi. most spaces in Delhi and most families in Delhi now understand that at least education is important. Like 12th tak, 12वीं tak to padhana hai. Then there is a separate strata in the society, like parents who believe that chalo BA karani hai, college karwana hai. And then there are shockingly, like, not a lot of families who persuade their daughters to go ahead and pursue higher education till the age of 27, 28, because oops, fertility age, right? So I think understanding the fact that, of course, women are more than just childbearing machines, and it's totally up to them how much they want to educate themselves and what they want to do with that education. Do they want to help their own families? Do they want to build something bigger with that, educational background? So it all boils down to the fact that why do we have to still discuss this? Why don't women just have that? Uh, innate freedom, or why aren't they born with the same freedom that a lot of males are in this respect? Like I have never come across a situation, until and unless it boils down to a financial issue. I haven't come across people who do not want to educate their boys in the family, because a lot of families, especially coming from a low socioeconomic background, they have aspirations from the male child of the family that जो हम नहीं कर पाए हमारा लड़का करेगा, हम उसको पढ़ाते हैं, लड़की को क्यों पढ़ाना है. So we need to break these taboos, and it's not a one day process, it's not a 1 year process. It has to be done again and again, again and again, because we have to look at it this way, that this kind of belief has been ingrained in the minds of people since ages, and it won't like require a miracle or a year of counseling or reaching out to them or campaigning on the streets about this. We have to make them understand the essence of education, why education is important, and why you shouldn't look at investing in your girl child as something different than investing in your male child. Again, I don't have a definite answer as to how we can convince people, because again, this is something that I learned in the fellowship, that you have to look at the place from where the other person is coming from. You have to understand their backgrounds, their past beliefs, their experiences maybe, and then tackle the situation. So I think focusing more on the root cause of why girl child education is not deemed to be as important as educating a male, that is something we should look into. Of course, organizations like yours, organizations like ours, they play a very important role. How? By having these conversations. It's very important to have these conversations, because when something has been happening from a very long time, it becomes a norm, and people stop caring about it because it doesn't interfere in their lives. Like, we haven't seen a lot of males talk about abortion rights, the havoc that a lot of women are facing in Texas and in other parts of America. So we haven't seen that in males, because it does not affect their daily life, and also probably in India it does not affect our lives immediately, because that policy has not been imposed on us. So we don't talk about it every day, every minute. We need to have these conversations every day, because that is how you actually normalize having this conversation, and that is how you actually ingrain this idea in people's minds. Because I believe, like, an idea is spread through repeated conversations between different groups. If you're having this conversation, probably somebody else is having a conversation as to why women should not be educated, or why women do not particularly need higher education, because they are, after all, going to be maternal figures, and they won't be able to actualize those educational learnings into a job, or they won't create an impact. So I think that having conversations, looking at the root cause, and I think on a more concrete level, policies. We have Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Andolan, and I'm very glad that this initiative has been taken up. But a lot has been spent, like a lot of that budget has been spent otherwise. So probably those policies can be molded into something that is um, on the execution level, which is more impactful, and more such policies can come into picture. Also, at the same time, these policies are not enough. A lot of people who are actually in need of these policy benefits are not aware of the existing policies, the existence of such redressal issues and these subsidiaries that they can actually afford in order to like educate their children. So I think that, and like better policies and better awareness about those policies, about how to access those policies. The last thing I think on my mind is related to MHM, which is menstrual hygiene management. Because we see that um, millions of girls drop out of school once they like start menstruating because a, taboos, b, the school is not a place with facilities with enough hygienic spaces for them to actually avail menstrual products. But and at the same time, in a lot of places in India, people don't use sanitary napkins, pads. So एजुकेशन, लाइक वी लुक एट इट दिस वे कि पढ़ाई से क्या फर्क पड़ता है इस बात का, बट इट डज मैटर बिकॉज इट स्टॉप्स देम फ्रॉम गोइंग टू स्कूल. If they won't like if, once they start menstruating, suppose if I am a person from a rural background and I don't have access to sanitary napkins, I don't know that menstruating is very natural, and in my school there are no facilities wherein I can actually go and change, or maybe a medical room, or you know a female staff advisor. If I don't have these people around, these opportunities, facilities around, then I probably would feel like, no, I don't want to go. I'll stay at home and I'll do the work. So I think that needs to be taken care of. A lot of MHM initiatives are there, a lot of wash initiatives are there. But yeah, and I think a lot of women need to know about menstrual products, about menstrual cups, reusable pads. They need to know about sanitary napkins because I don't think education is more important than a life. So a lot of women actually die because of using unhygienic products. So yeah, I think there are a lot of ways through which we can tackle this, but these 4 5 issues we can look at immediately.
Yeah, right. We have to strike the problem by, various ways
Right.
through policy advocacy, policy intervention, maybe be it health or be it education, be it the societal mindset or awareness campaigns. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it was absolutely lovely to hear from you, and I could continue for hours. You're such a good orator. But considering the paucity of time, I would have to, wrap up. Thank you so much, Diksha. It was really inspiring to hear from you, and we wish you good luck for your future endeavors. And it was really nice that how you have explained the very small steps of your journey, that about your workshops, how you have helped those kids, how you have raised funds, and it was really nice because we just see the end result. Okay, she has helped 4 students, and we don't see the backstory. We don't see the
Absolutely.
hard work. So that's our little bit of our initiative to recognize such efforts, and to make us aware, make other girls aware, like that other girls are doing this, and maybe you could reach out to them, they could reach out to you, and they could learn them, and they could do something with themselves, because we are privileged, we all here are very privileged, to have been educated very smoothly, and but now it's our duty and it's our moral obligation to help others and be empowered too. So as we have come
Absolutely.
to, yeah, as we come to the end of this lovely evening, prior to winding up, it's an absolute delight to deliver the vote of thanks on the behalf of organizing committee to Ms. Diksha, who spared her time today with us, and we are truly obliged to have you here. Further, I would like to thank each and everyone from the team, including Abhishek Ranjan sir, team leads, and volunteers for organizing this event. Thank you and have a great day ahead.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much,
It's our
Diksha. It was an
pleasure.
honor being here and listening
Yeah.
to you. And
No, no,
we had an
actually, it
amazing
was.
time, I think, both of us.
I am really happy that I could share these things because a lot of talks that I've been a part of, they only want to listen to what I've done, not how
Yeah.
I've done. They
Yeah,
don't want to
exactly.
know the backstory. They don't want to know why I started. They just want to know what I did and
Yeah,
what impact that created. That's it. So
yeah.
I think this is a great initiative. I
Thank
would
you
look
so much.
forward to actually meeting you someday, both of you, because in
Sure.
this conversation,
Yeah.
only I was speaking. I need to know how Project Yuria started and what are your aims and vision and how we can help you actually, how Girl of Life
Yeah,
can help you.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
We
We can
can have a
Yeah,
go
collab
for
someday.
collabs
Sure.
someday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
absolutely.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Diksha. Thank you so much for today.
Yeah.